Hello, welcome to EEA, that's Evolutionary Earth Astrology. My name is Zipporah. This is the Aries in the Brain video, and it's part of a 12-part series called Zodiac in the Brain. And before we get started, I want to ask you to please go back and watch that introductory video because there's a lot of information in there that I don't want to repeat. I want to jump right in. First, before we begin, I would like to tell you that this is going to be like a slideshow. It's a Zoom call. This is my first time. So I'm going to be watching the screen here. And I'm going to be putting on my glasses because I can't see and I wasn't ready with my contact. But anyway, enough of that. You're not here for that. Go back and watch that video, as I said before. And before we begin, I'm just curious. I would like to know, what do you think Aries represent in the brain? Okay, think about that and drop your comments down in this comment box below the video. I appreciate that. Okay, we're going to jump right in. I'm going to share my screen. All right, like I said, this is Aries in the brain, and that's the little cute picture that I created. Okay, just take a look at it. Let me see. I'm trying to position my camera somewhere where I'm not covering up the work. Okay, so the origin story, which is Ammon's horn. Okay, I talked about that in the other video, in the introductory video, but this is how my journey began, discovering the zodiac sign and symbols in the brain when I saw this image called Ammon's horn. Okay, so this is the god Egyptian deity Ammon. And if you look at the picture right here, you will see it. Well, they say it's a deity, but he looks like a man. Okay, and so look at these horns on this man. What does it look like to you? Okay, I want this to be interactive. I want you guys to be thinking. Go ahead and put your comments down below. I'm going to give it a second, and then we're going to go on to the next slide. Okay, I talk about this in the introduction video again. Again, this is the side view. Let me move my screen out the way. And as I keep going, I'm going to get better at this. This is the side view. So you're seeing this curved structure around the ear of this god Ammon, which looks like a man for a reason. Okay, so does this ring a bell? Okay, look at this. Does it ring a bell? Okay. All right, it's the ram. It's a ram. Okay. It is Aries, the ram. Okay. So this is the Aries glyph / symbol. In astrology, this is the glyph right here, or a symbol of Aries. So what does it look like? Okay. You're seeing the ram. A ram is a male sheep. The female is used to have horns, but they don't anymore, but they originally did. So I'm going to go to the next slide. Okay, so the big question is, okay, we identified that it's a ram's horn on the man. Okay, but why would a ram's horn be on a human? That's the big question. So going to the next slide. Okay, so everything in astrology has been pointing to mankind, man's connection to the universe and all that is. Now I'm going to quickly go over what a glyph is. Glyph is a symbolic figure or character used to represent a concept, a form, or a structure. Again, a glyph, which is what they use in astrology, is a symbolic figure or character used to represent a concept, a form, or a structure. So a glyph is a symbolic character that's used to represent a structure. So we're going to focus on that word structure. Okay, so a symbol is something that stands for or represents something deeper. So it's a symbol that represents something deeper. It's often abstract or unseen. Okay, a symbol is something that represents something deeper. So it's something more than what the symbol is. It's just an image of something deeper, something that's usually abstract or unseen. So it's something that we have not seen or it's abstract, and those who know. Okay, and so a motto is a short phrase that expresses the guiding principle or core expression of something. So again, we're looking at this glyph. We're on Aries, so this is the Aries glyph. And in astrology, the motto for Aries is I am. And that's going to be very important as we go further into this lesson. Remember, I am, and remember the Aries glyph, and that it's symbolic of something deeper and unseen and abstract. Okay, so through my research, remember the question was, why would ram's horn be on a human? So first of all, let's talk about what Ammon's horn is. Okay, so Ammon's horn, or cornu ammonis, and cornu means horn. So it's Ammon's horn. Cornu means ammonis means the horn of Ammon. Okay, it's an anatomical term for the hippocampus proper in the brain. Okay, let me repeat that. Ammon's horn is an anatomical, and it has to do with anatomy, the human body, for the hippocampus proper in the brain, specifically referring to fields CA1 to CA4 that forms a C-shaped ram's horn-like structure. You hear that word, structure? It is a structure in the brain. So what are we learning so far already? That Aries, the glyph, is a representation of a structure or a form that is, it might be abstract, but it's pointing to something else. And so let me finish. It's a curved, critical component of the limbic system involved in memory, named for its resemblance to the curved, curling horns of the Egyptian deity Ammon. And so I got a couple of images down here where it's highlighted in green. That's the ram's horn, where it ends when the brain is facing forward in its coronal view. This is the hippocampus C1 through C4, the curl shape of it. And looking from the side, you see this yellow thing here. This is the hippocampus. And we'll go to the next slide so you can see the resemblance more. Okay. So this is the ventricles of the brain. Okay, the ventricles is a structure that where the CSF fluid flows through the brain. So it like carry this fluid that goes around and wash and cleanse the brain. So look at this glyph over here. So we got a two different shapes going into one structure. But look at this here, the ventricles. Do you see the curved shape of the lateral ventricle? Yes or no? Okay, so let's go over here. Same thing. Are you seeing a similarity here? Now remember, it's a representation. It's not going to be exact, but you can see those curved horns. And we saw in the description before slide that the hippocampus is called cornu ammonis. So it's that is the horn that it's talking about. But I wanted you to be able to see that shape. But here we're going to go to this image right here. Here's the hippocampus. The hippocampus sits on the lateral ventricles. Again, here's a picture here pointing to the hippocampus. But this blue part here is the lateral ventricle, what you see over here in this image. I hope this arrow is pointing right. But anyway, just to let you know, we already saw the other clip said that the Ammon's horn is the hippocampus, but the shape is pointing to something, a representation of something deeper, but it's the hippocampus. The shape is looking, the glyph is looking more like the lateral ventricles, but the lateral ventricles encases the hippocampus, so to speak. Okay. So we're going to go to the next slide. Okay. And this is just me imposing the images on top of each other. So I got these two images here and imposed them on top of each other so that you can kind of see that. But I think you get the idea. You guys are a very smart people. And just to prove it, here is, the hippocampus where it says hippo. and the lateral ventricle, just to let you know that though that is the lateral ventricle. They just moved the third ventricle part here just so you can get a close up. Now this is the fornix and this is the hippocampus. Okay, the fornix is also a part of that glyph. So the way that my thinking is I started with the glyph, believing that it was a representation of some structure. We found out through the connection of the Ammon's horn that they're talking about the hippocampus. So going from the Aries glyph here, I'm seeing and I'm saying that Aries rules the hippocampus and the fornix. Here's the fornix going in that downward shape that you see on the glyph. Okay, these are the mammillary bodies. They're connected to the fornix, but I believe that's another part of the zodiac, but I don't want to get into that right now. So you're seeing this downward swoop. If you look at the lateral ventricle, that's like the third ventricle. But like I said, I believe it's the fornix and the hippocampus putting all the clues together from Ammon's horn further. Okay? And you see that? That's all I want to know. So hopefully now I've convinced you that the Aries symbol is pointing to the hippocampus and the fornix. So if this structure matches the Aries glyph, we need to understand what it does. Okay? First thing I wanted to do is show you how I got there from the Ammon's horn, and then I wanted to show you that the shape matched this structure in the brain. I've done that. So now we need to understand what the hippocampus and the fornix does, and so that will help us to understand what Aries' purpose and function is. Okay. So what it is, we already went through that. A curved structure in the temporal lobe named after a seahorse, but also called Ammon's horn. What it does, this is important. What the hippocampus does, we're starting with the hippocampus, it forms new memories. It forms new memories. That is its main role, is to form new memories. And that's going to be very important in understanding what Aries does and how Aries operate. But let's keep going. It helps you recognize what is familiar versus unfamiliar, and it builds your personal story. Okay, so the hippocampus answers a very important question. Have I experienced this before? Okay, so I have an engagement question now. Have you ever walked into a place and instantly felt like you knew it or didn't belong there? If so, that is your hippocampus working. Okay, so also the hippocampus not only deals with memory, it deals with navigation. Okay, so the hippocampus doesn't just store memory, it helps you locate yourself. Okay, it tracks where you are, helps you understand where you've been, so that's the past, and it guides you to where you're going. So that's what Aries is about: where you are now, where you've been, and where are you going. The hippocampus is your internal GPS, okay? And this is where Aries come in. Aries equals direction, initiative, movement into space. Aries asks, where am I? Where am I going? What do I do next? Okay? So are you someone who always needs to know where you're going, or are you okay without direction? Okay? I love this. Okay, so now we're going to get to the fornix, okay? Because we talked about what the hippocampus does is basically mostly for memory and navigation. Now we're going to talk about the fornix. Okay, so the hippocampus doesn't work alone. It needs a way to send its message. Okay, and so let's talk about what it is first. It's a bundle of white matter fibers shaped like an arch, again matching the Aries glyph. And it carries information from the hippocampus forward. It connects memory to action systems in the brain. Now, this is going to be very important to Aries. It connects the memory to action. So once the hippocampus forms this memory and everything, it sends it to these different circuits, and we will talk about that later in the body. And that's why Aries goes straight to action rapidly, and we'll get into that more later, but just keep that in mind. The fornix connects memory to action systems in the brain, and this is going to be important in explaining why Aries is so action oriented, why it's so quick to take action, but we'll get there. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Okay, so the fornix is the bridge between memory and response. So there's an engagement prompt for you. Do you think your past experiences influence how fast you react today? Okay, that's a question for you. You guys get involved, get into the comments and answer the question, please. Okay, so now we're going to go into the Aries motto, which is I am, and the memory connection. Okay, so now this is where you drop something powerful, and original. This is, my stuff that I put into Chat GPT. And so once I told Chat GPT, look, I'm seeing this in the brain or whatever. So Chat GPT was like, this is original. This is powerful and original. It went through its little memory banks and said, I've never seen anybody put this together. So anyway, Aries motto is I am. But what does that actually mean? Okay, so I asked ChatGPT to give me the etymology of amnesia. So we're going to break it down. A equals without, and amnesia means memory. So amnesia means without memory. So now we flip it. So what is the opposite? If I'm without memory, then let's go to the next slide. I am because I remember. Okay, so your identity, your I am, is built from memory, and the hippocampus is what creates that memory. So Aries is not just action. Aries is the emergence of identity through experience. Okay, so if you lost your memories, would you still be the same person? Okay, so that's the I am. It's connected to memory. You are who you are because you remember. If you were to lose your memories right now, who would you be? Could you tell us your name? Could you tell us, that's what it's about. So we're going to begin to now look at Aries as not just a zodiac sign, but a function, a purpose. And we all have an Aries. Okay. You have people that were born with the sun in Aries, but we all have an Aries because we have a chart, and it is representing 12 parts of what's going on in our brain and what its purpose is and how we are to function. So some people may have the sun in Aries, and when we think of Aries, people's first thought is the sun in Aries. But I have Chiron in Aries, but I have a hippocampus, so that's not my sun focus in life. But we all have a hippocampus. We all have an Aries. We all have a fornix. So we need to start thinking about Aries as the hippocampus and the fornix. Okay? This is so fascinating. Okay, so that's all I have for today. I don't want to make this too long, but if you guys want to get more in detail, maybe there's a part 2, please let me know down in the comments. So we're going to stop here. I'm going to wait to hear from you guys, and then we will let me stop sharing my screen here. Yeah, that was fun. Like I said, I only want to make the videos maybe 8 to 15 minutes long, but you guys let me know. I have so much more information, like why Aries' first emotion is anger, and that Aries circuitry I was telling you guys about. So if you're interested in that, please tell me down in the comments. Say, I want to see the next Aries video. I want to go deeper. All right. So that's it for today. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, share the video, leave a comment, and if you want to support, I will leave the ways to do that down in the description. And so remember, we got 12 more signs coming up. I also found Taurus and Gemini. And so, yeah, I'm going to try to move on to the Taurus video next. If you guys want more about Aries, remember, I said you got to interact with me. You got to tell me what you want. Put it down in the comments. Okay, so that is it for now. Until the next video, please make sure you're checking out the playlist, because all the videos in this series is going to be in my playlist. So that's it for today. Thank you.
Okay, you are now at the end of this video. You want to click on the link right here in order to watch the introductory video. And you want to click on this bottom link in order to watch the Taurus in the Brain video. Thank you so much for watching.